Yep, that coffee hits. Wait a second, is my mic on? Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. I'm Miley. So in my house, there is one room that is nearly complete, and that is my living room. But one of the things I currently don't like is that my TV is on one of those Ikea cube shelf things. I don't remember what they're called. Oh, it's a Kallax. Okay, Kallax. So currently I have my TV on the Ikea Kallax. And I've been searching for a TV stand, and a while back, I'm not sure when it was, I was scrolling through TikTok. I saw a video of a woman that took her Ikea Kallax, added a few things, and transformed it to make it look more high-end. I then went online and found out that there are a whole bunch of people that take IKEA furniture and make it look more expensive. So that's what I'm going to be trying. I have an entire design planned out. Some of the stuff I've seen people do, and some of the stuff I haven't seen people do. So in other words, this could be bad. I already know I'm going to make mistakes, but since so many people have a Kallax or the similar version from Target, if you want to try this out, you get to learn from my mistakes. You're welcome. I'm no hero, I'm just a girl. Do I expect an award? Maybe. Okay, I have to tear down my studio and move the Kallax in here because I have a kitten that gets into everything. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, now let's get started. And here she is, the Kallax, the piece of furniture that everyone and their mother has. The first step in my Kallax makeover, painting it black. When I moved the Kallax into my studio, I realized she was looking a little dusty and crusty, so first thing that I did was wipe her down. And this is when I realized painting this thing was gonna be a pain in the patookus. I was gonna have to paint up, down, all around, inside each one of these cubes. After cleaning, I got to sanding, and I'm not totally sure if this part was necessary. The Kallax has this weird coating on it and is made of particle board, but I figured this couldn't hurt. And no, unfortunately, there was not 4 of me sanding. Honestly, in general, I just wish there was 4 of me. I'd get way more done in the day. Now let's get to the main event. For the painting process, I used a foam roller. This was my first time using a foam roller, but I heard it provides the most even coverage, which is definitely key when painting furniture. And just like I thought, painting this was a pain. I did contemplate taking the Kallax apart, which would have made the painting a lot easier, but I no longer had the instructions and did not trust myself to put it back together the right way. So I had to paint up, down, all around, inside each cube 8 different times. With the first coat, she was looking a little rough, but after a few hours I came back, did the second coat, and it made a big difference. But the painting process was not over. I really wanted the paint to be as durable as possible, and I knew I wouldn't get that with acrylic paint. After doing some research, I determined enamel paint would be the best option. This was my first time using enamel paint, and I'm in love. Now, I'm about to say something a bit controversial. I hate chalk paint. There, I said it. I know I probably offended every DIY mom out there. For a few years now, I've used chalk paint, and I get it. It's fast, it's easy, but it's really not durable, and I usually end up hating the piece a month later. So this journey has led me to enamel paint, and this was way more of a time-consuming process.
24 hours later.
I had to let it sit for a full 24 hours before coming back to finish the painting, and on the second day, all I could do was paint the underside. And with that, I had to wait another 24 hours.
Day 3.
And finally, by day 3, the painting process was done. The enamel was dry enough to move on. Step 2, putting a back on this Kallax. So you might have noticed on day 1 and 2 some painted plywood in the background. On the first day, I prepped these boards by painting them with acrylic paint and enamel paint. Then I got to measuring. Also, all measurements, tools, and supplies are in the description down below if you want to give this a try. You want to know what made this project so nice? Last week at 3 in the morning, my husband and I spontaneously ripped up the carpet in our basement so we could put in new flooring. So that meant I got to do all of my cutting in our basement and not go out to our cold workshop. But not everything worked out perfectly. My first mistake was in the preparation. On the second day, all I did was paint the underside of the Kallax, but in hindsight, I really wish I would have prepped the next steps. Also, I wish I would have cut the plywood boards before painting them. The boards splintered a lot when I cut against the grain. It ended up not being that big of a deal because it was covered up once I attached it to the back, but had it splintered any further, I would have had to touch it up. Step 3, doors. Now, this was an idea straight from the TikTok video I watched. To make these doors, I used tongue and groove boards, which just means these boards pop together. I still had to reinforce the two pieces together, but these boards make for a really nice, easy, finished look. The hardest part about making these doors was getting the cuts just right. One wrong move and it was out the door and back to Lowe's. So I triple checked all my measurements before cutting. To hold the two pieces together, I cut 2 small strips of wood in half, drilled some holes, and screwed them together. And for most of this project, I didn't cut corners, but once I started staining, I got excited and only stained the outside of the doors. I could always go back and stain the inside, but just being honest, that's never gonna happen. And you might be wondering why I didn't cover up the entire back with plywood. That is because I wanted to leave room on the shelves for some large baskets I have, and I was worried about space if there was a back and doors on each side. The only thing left is to give this baby a little lift. I got these mid-century modern legs on Amazon. They are really inexpensive and I love the way they look. I did though initially question if the doors and legs looked good together. They are the same color but have very different grain patterns, but once I actually put it on the legs, I really loved the way it looked. Okay, let's go back. I started with this plain old Kallax. Now I have this. Talk about a transformation. The colors, the doors, the legs, it feels so much more complete. With the hard work over, I could get to my favorite part, decorating. Most of these items are secondhand. I have an ongoing obsession with Facebook Marketplace, so most of these gems are from there, but I also did rework a few of the items I already had. If you try this out, send me a picture of your Kallax makeover on Instagram. And if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. I put out a new video each week, so hit the notification button so you don't miss a video. And that's all I have for you guys. See you next week.